Super Sunday is kind of an American holiday, sort of. It's built around football, sort of. It's also built around parties, outrageous TV commercials, and the infamous halftime show. We hope there's no malfunctions this year because it is featuring Katy Perry. Take a look.
Sunday, the Seattle Seahawks take on the New England Patriots for game day. For some of the audience, it's about following the pigskin. For others, it's about the ads or the parties which surround the big game. And those parties and the spending that goes with it are getting larger. This year, Americans are expected to lay out a record $14.3 billion on football celebrations. That's up 65% from 2007. As with holiday shopping, retailers are doing their part to encourage spending, branding the game as a national holiday and promoting game-related items. Food and merchandising aside, sales on large-screen TVs, well, that's an ideal way for retailers to unload leftover stock from the Christmas season. Meanwhile, the players themselves are set to put on a show for the expected 100 million viewers.
I think over the years, we've had some tough losses, and obviously we made it here in 07, we made it in 11, and those were challenging games. I have such an appreciation for it now, and that's why I'm hoping we can accomplish and finally finish it off with a great win on Sunday. It'd mean an awful lot.
But whatever the final scoreboard reads, the winners are the retailers. By the way, we will consume 1.25 billion chicken wings on game day.
I just want to know what happens to all the legs and thighs that go along with those wings, but that's for another day. Let's say hello to our Ebru think tank, Paul Levinson of Fordham University, Bill Rosenberg of Drexel University, and Jodi Balsam of Brooklyn Law. She used to work for the NFL. Let me ask you about Tom Brady's footballs. What do you make of this ridiculous scandal?
Well, I think the NFL is trying to get it right. They've rushed to judgment a couple of times this year with issues of moral, ethical, and football importance. And we're not going to hear back from them about De-flate until after the game, and they've had a chance to interview everybody that they haven't gotten to yet at the Patriots.
A matter of physics, Bill, if it's cold one day, warm one day, altitude changes, my tire pressure changes, I'll have that little annoying light come on. Yeah. So it's possible that this is all just a mistake.
Actually, it's not possible because there's not a different atmospheric pressure on one side of the field versus the other. And it was New England's balls, not Indiana's balls. So there's clearly something going on. 11 of the 12 balls were deflated. And the one ball obviously wouldn't be deflated, would be for the kicker, because the kicker doesn't want a deflated ball. So there's something going on. The question is who's responsible, who knows, and what should be done about it. And unlike our guest from Brooklyn Law School, I almost am of the opinion that New England should have been barred from the Super Bowl. The game should have been forfeited, and it should have gone to Indianapolis, and Indianapolis should be playing. So I think that's a pretty stark statement, but I think the reality is that there was enough time to figure this out.
Okay, I'm going to put Paul in chiming in, and I'm going to let Jodi get into your face about that. Paul,
I don't see why everyone is so upset. Let's grow up. There's not a sport in existence that doesn't have these little scandals and these little attempts to get advantage. Look at baseball. There's not a season that goes by that a pitcher is not called for putting grease on a ball.
Look at Muhammad Ali when he knocked out Sonny Liston with the unviewed punch. I mean,
right.
He went on to be the greatest champion of boxing of all time.
That's right.
So it is interesting. I see both sides
I wonder
of
if there'll be an asterisk, though,
right,
on this year's Super Bowl.
It'll be interesting how they do in the Super Bowl because they're playing a worthy competitor. Jodi, what are your thoughts?
Well, somehow I think I disagree with both my panelists here.
Excellent.
Because I think these rules are very important. I think that what attracts people to the game is its integrity. The rules matter, whether or not there was a result, an unjustified result as the effect of a rules violation. You have to enforce the rules. I believe this commissioner fully intends to do so. He just doesn't want to get caught in the trap that he found himself in during the Ray Rice affair.
Jodi, I thought he was going to cry during his State of the NFL address the other day. Like, it's been a tough year. I didn't know what to do with all the men who beat up their wives and girlfriends.
Yeah, I actually thought he gave a really good conference yesterday. I thought he outperformed any other media day, and he handled himself as well as he could. And I don't have any trouble with how he apologized during that
Well, I think
conference.
it's really great because someone who gets $44 million a year in salary should have enough media advisors to be able to help them navigate one press conference. So I think, we're talking about a situation where I fully agree we should follow the rules, but if there's not consequences, serious consequences for not following the rules, and if you don't have a 1, 2, or 3 strike you're out kind of provision, then what's to stop people from violating rules in the future?
Well,
But
the
let me
consequences
just
are
say,
going to
though,
be.
that there's a world of difference between someone who beats his wife or hits his child with a stick and deflated footballs. And one of the problems in our society is that all
Yeah,
these
but-
things
but
are
I-
mixed
but I-
together. Who really cares about deflated football? You're completely right, however, about the NFL and what they've been going through this year, because unfortunately they have criminals who are playing football.
I'm going to stop you there, but you did quote Hillary Clinton. What difference does it make this far after the fact? Let's talk a little bit. How did football, I never watch football. I don't care. I had to Google it today to find out where they're playing, okay? But I will watch the Super Bowl. Jodi, how did the NFL brainwash us all and create this national holiday in early February?
Well, it all goes back to TV. They were the sport that mastered television. They were the ones who made every game an event by having them played once a week on a Sunday. Every Sunday of football season's a holiday, and the Super Bowl is just the icing on the cake. It's gotten amazing press attention, public attention because of all of the ancillary activities that go around the Super Bowl, the commercials, the halftime show. They couldn't have done it better.
They've replaced baseball as the all-American sport.
Yeah, and I was going to say baseball is a much more linear game. It's a Victorian 19th century game, and it's very well suited to print and descriptions of what happens. But when you're watching it, I love baseball much more than football. It is very slow moving. Right. In contrast, football is always in action. And so I agree with you completely. It worked perfectly with television.
And now they're actually thinking about bringing in a pitch clock for baseball to keep the
That's
game
right.
moving quickly.
Couple things. Tomorrow, a lot of us are going to spend a lot of time watching the NFL Super Bowl. It's actually going to be 19 minutes of game time. There's going to be everything else going on, all the ads, all the huddles, all the special events.
But for people like myself, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Football is, well, for some people it is, but for some people it isn't. The thing I think is really remarkable about the NFL, though, is about 15 years ago, Monday Night Football was losing in the ratings to wrestling, professional wrestling on Monday nights. So the fact is that the NFL has really turned itself around and become a preeminent sport again. It used to be, it sort of fell off, and now it's come back. And I think ultimately we have to realize that this whole issue is about the money, okay? The money, when those ads go on the air, people are sitting there and they're watching the game, but really what they're doing is they're the eyeballs to be sold to the advertisers to be able to make money.
Absolutely. Well, the commercials are part of the fun. Everybody's going to be talking the next day, what was the best commercial? Right. They pulled one of the commercials already, apparently for Purina Puppy Chow or something.
No, it was the GoDaddy. No, it was the GoDaddy,
okay.
a lost puppy commercial.
It was nasty. Right. That's why they pulled it. Right. But one of the ironies about the Super Bowl commercial issue is, as you know, it costs $4.5 million now to get a 30-second spot, and you'll have over 100 million people hopefully seeing the ads. But a lot of people are beginning to come to the conclusion that the ads shown on social media, these same ads, all of which were leaked to the social media the week before the Super Bowl, and all of which will be up on YouTube, in the long run, that will have far more impact than just the moment they're shown on Sunday.
Well, it's like political ads. A lot of them are created never to be aired, but to be so outrageous that people look at it on YouTube to see Chris Christie fall off his chair or something.
Yeah, I think I'm going to make an announcement that I think maybe some of the viewers will find interesting. Right now we're in the 49th Super Bowl. I'm projecting that maybe by the 75th there may not even be an NFL. Okay, and the reason for that is because of insurance, about concussions, and about the whole cost to society.
These people are big boys. They know what they're getting into. They're well compensated.
What I'm saying though is that there's going to be a Pareto optimal point between the advertising and the dollars and the health risks of these players versus what takes place.
One of your favorite talk show hosts, Rush Limbaugh, talks about this all the time, that they're trying to dumb down the game, make it less violent, and make it so that football players aren't allowed to get concussions. You know, you go in there, you're going to blow out your knees. My mother growing up didn't let her 6'6" son play football. One, he was too skinny, but two, she didn't want me to get hurt.
Right.
Everybody knows you get hurt playing football. Everybody knows you get hurt boxing.
When insurance dollars
Exactly.
are at stake, then it
Well, there's
becomes
going to have to be some kind of disclaimer or waiver that people sign, knowing that they're, you know, you might get your brains bashed in this game, right? Jodi, you're a lawyer.
Well, the NFL's doing a lot to contest this, and one of the things they've done is they've just hired a chief medical officer. So there is going to be a greater sensitivity to the post-career health situation of the players. I don't think football is going to go away by 25 years from now. It'll look different. It will definitely look different.
Well, I will agree. It will absolutely be different. It may not totally go away, but it's got to change because Pop Warner's not even going to be.
I got to stop you right here because we're running out of time. Your prediction for Super Sunday. We have a porcupine video to show you as well. The porcupine picked champ, apparently. Does anybody know who the porcupine picked?
No.
Oh, the Seahawks, according to the porcupine. Paul,
Well,
your prediction.
Even though my heart is with Boston, logically I go with the Seahawks.
Jodi.
Well, I'm going the same way that Mayor Walsh of Boston went. He went with the Seahawks.
Wow.
He refused to bet the Seattle mayor, the traditional mayoral bet between the two Super Bowl cities. He refused to bet this year. I'm not sure why, but if he's
That's
not willing to
kinda
bet on his own
strange.
team, neither am I. I'm going with the Seahawks.
And Bill?
I think the American public is pulling for the Seahawks, but it's not a wash that they're going to win.
Okay, I think that Tom Brady and the Patriots have been put through the ringer, and I think it's been unfair, just my opinion as an observer, not a football fan, and because of that, I think they're going to kick some butt, and I hope so. Let me thank my guests, Bill Rosenberg, Jodi and Paul Levinson as well. Jodi Balsam from Brooklyn Law, Paul Levinson from Fordham University, and Bill Rosenberg from Drexel University. That is it for this edition of Fresh Outlook, Ebru's TV talk show that does what else but help you keep your outlook fresh and informed. Go Patriots, go Seattle. I'm Logan Crawford. Thanks for joining us.